this one right here is like probably the best one I've had.
What makes coffee good?
There's no way to describe it without sounding like slightly homosexual. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, yeah, I don't want to be like.
And how's that different from your regular Tuesday?
Everything else you do, right? Exactly. Just.
What do you like? That's like something that you kind of is like an acquired taste, or like you have to like grow into it. Beer.
No.
Wine.
I can do it.
Damn.
Liquor's disgusting.
Okay.
But I can do it.
Whiskey.
I've had really good whiskey. You're talking about stuff that tastes good.
Like this tastes good for what it is.
Yeah.
Strawberry lemonade usually always tastes good.
Right. Pizza's fire, nigga. Like
coffee, I gotta add sugar in there. I gotta add hella sugar in there. You go straight to the face.
You mature.
Your palate's not mature enough to.
Yeah, you gotta. You know, you young. Right. You got a young nigga's mouth.
A young nigga's mouth
is crazy.
It's insane, bro.
Nigga, you got a McDonald's mouth, nigga.
Nigga got a chicken nugget mouth. Nigga like his nuggies.
You want a nuggie, nigga?
Thanks for tuning in. Matter of fact, thanks for your patronage. Wildly inappropriate. See how I brutally honest it? Like, wow, that boy, wow. Don't you see them boys so crazy? Chilling with the homies, dog, Keon, Gary, and KB.
I just want to know what makes different coffees taste. Yeah. I mean, I guess if you put it in a explanation like liquor, wine, you know, versus
right. It's kind of in the same vein, yeah.
But it's still just gross.
It's like you just taste subtle hints of, but you're not even trying to like seek that out. You just like, oh.
So what's the purpose of coffee? Like for you, what do you want it for? Energy?
For me, routine, just a little boost in energy, a little boost in, you know,
going to the bathroom,
the caffeine boost. I mean, that's a.
Does it give you a boost in energy? Because Gary be drinking coffee during the episode, and then we be driving home. He be like, "Dog, I ain't gonna make it, man. I don't know."
What you mean? Ain't gonna make what?
When we be driving, when it's his time to drive, he be like, "Dog, he be, oh shit, Gary's tired, bro."
Gary's the sleepiest nigga I've ever gone on the road with.
And I'm just like, yeah. See, so I'm saying like,
I didn't sleep on the way back.
No.
Yeah, I didn't sleep on the way there either. No. I only slept, nigga. I sleep when it's time to sleep. It's 2 a.m. We drive. It's
we normally after the show. You got that after show adrenaline, right?
Right. Normally, yes.
This nigga.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Because even at the shows we do now on the road, I can't. I would love to go back to the hotel and go immediately to sleep when we get back. I can't do it.
He be like, and good night, everybody. Like, there's no residual.
Backstage, you gotta carry this nigga.
There's no residual like carryover of adrenaline, and he'd be like, "Yep, well, that's it. Time to go."
I'll be ready. I'll be ready to rock.
Time to go.
That's not true. I was trying to get a helicopter. I was trying to find a helicopter.
In my defense, I thought he takes edibles regularly. I thought that the ones I had would just be. They was kicking his ass.
Oh, okay. During the show?
Nah. No, after
the show.
But I just thought he'd be taking them. I was like, okay, you'll be fine.
They were fine.
I'm sleeping.
I forgot that I had. The thing was, I forgot I had took it, and I just like fucking collapsed and woke up, and I was like, nigga, what's wrong with me? I went to the. I was like, what's going on? What's wrong with me? I was like, oh, I took an edible.
Edibles are just.
I got the good stuff.
Yeah, they be sneaking up on you. But that's funny because when we went wine tasting some years back, and I'm not an alcohol person, and I was just like, man, this shit gonna all taste the same. And we went to this winery up in wine country or whatever.
Napa.
I think it's Napa, right? And it was just like, I get it. I get the history was interesting to me. Learning about how you got to age these barrels, you put it in this one over here, and this is how it works. And then tasting it, I was just like, all right, some of this stuff tastes different, but a lot of this stuff tastes the same. It's like, nah, when you drink this and then you eat steak, or you drink this and then you eat like chocolate, like, and you drink it again, it's like a whole different taste. Yeah. And it's like it's supposed to do that. It's like I was like,
compliment.
Compliment certain things. You don't drink this with you don't drink like particular wine with a chicken. You eat this with a steak, whatever.
And honestly, like a lot of that, it's a whole experience. So I can't say that this tastes so good because like it's a whole presentation. Wine pairs well with this type of cheese, but like nigga, if you eating that at the counter of in a diner, like it's not gonna taste the same. Like it's a whole ambiance.
Maybe when it comes to coffee, I feel like coffee drinkers are very much like you. They're like everybody that I know that drinks coffee for real. Like it's very like they go to a certain place to either get their coffee. They're very bougie about their coffee. They kind of look down on niggas that don't drink. Cause I'm a tea nigga. I'll drink tea for sure. But it's like
From McDonald's.
nah, sweet tea, nigga. You know,
sweet, yeah.
nigga tea.
Y'all got any nigga tea back there?
But it's like, you know, but I get the essence of like a peppermint tea versus a ginger tea versus a whatever. I'm like, okay, there's a clear difference in what it does for your body, even in your calmness.
And how it tastes.
Yeah, and how you taste, and like a natural sweetness versus like, you know, sometimes it might be a chamomile that's supposed to knock you out and put you to sleep or relax you, shit like that, you know. Oh, nigga, we getting older. It's like, this is the things that, has your palate, I guess we on this vibe now. What does your palate change what you didn't like as a kid to what you like now?
When I was younger, I refused to eat pussy, but now, nigga, now
My palate has
it evolved somewhere along the line, and
croissant.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Croissant.
I can have a little croissant. No, I mean that's true, but
So when it came to eating pussy, was you like ill pussy is gonna be nasty?
I've never been an ill pussy. I've
oh
always
yeah,
been
yeah.
like,
But I saw
Really?
porn when I was younger, and the way hers looked destroyed me.
Oh, she had a
Hers
lot of
was blown out.
okay.
Like it was, whew,
sections.
it was thrash.
Yeah, it was.
And I was like, I will never put my mouth on one of those.
on one of these.
On one of those ever.
But like, why?
It was thrash, bro. Like I was like, I don't know how you do that.
Here's the thing.
It just didn't look
It
appetizing.
didn't look appetizing, and
Okay.
then we're at an age too where our hygiene isn't the best.
right.
Boys
So
are
you
musty,
associated-
girls are, you know what I mean? So I was just like,
Yeah.
that smell and that, nigga, I'm not.
If
doing
you're like,
it.
if it looks like that, I can't even imagine how
Well,
it
yeah,
smells.
yeah. I was like, I'm
I
good.
can see.
That's
do you,
cold.
Do you think that's why?
That's cold.
Do you think that's why some niggas might even be gay because they saw their first pussy and it was just like an ugly
Nah,
one?
because that didn't stop me.
Oh, okay.
Nah.
But like, ew, this is what I'm supposed to be. I can't do this.
I'm not putting my mouth on it, but I'll put something in it.
'Cause I think the first one I saw was like it was pretty nice looking. I was just like, I get why niggas want to put their mouth on this. Like they want to.
that came later.
This. I was like, I understand perfectly.
Food and palate wise, I'll never be a coffee person. That's just not me. And I don't have no beef with coffee. You know what my beef with coffee drinkers are? They won't admit they're addicted. That annoys me.
Oh, I'm personally not addicted, but I do understand that people are addicted
Like
to
if
it.
you need to do it every day, that's an addiction.
Yeah, people are addicted.
Like people
for
be like,
sure.
oh, it's a routine or it's just how I start my day. No, nigga, you need it. That's an
It's called an
addiction.
addiction.
Well,
Yeah,
you don't-
like
you don't
just say what
know-
it is.
You be addicted to
You don't-
to a bunch of different things.
Yeah,
that
I'm not saying you're gonna suck dick for it, but
Yeah.
let's just
I think
call it what it is.
people like to associate addiction specifically with drugs
or negativity.
or negativity. It's
Right.
just like there's whether there's sugar addiction, there's food addiction,
Right.
there's jack off addiction, there's so many different addictions.
Family, gym, like you can be
Yeah.
addicted to a lot of things.
It'd be
It
funny
doesn't have
if
to
you-
be negativity.
It'd be funny if you are addicted to masturbation but not sex.
That'd be wild.
It's like,
But
I don't want no
safer
pussy, dog.
and
Just
more convenient.
I can see that though. I can see especially
Yeah.
a person that might even caught something before and they luckily was able to get rid of it. But they be like, yo, now they're a hypochondriac or they were a hypochondriac and they fucked them up. Or just like, you know, a dude that might have the anxiety of sex of like he's afraid, like these guys that probably don't get pussy like that. It's just like, yo, the fear of having to please a woman, it's kind of scary.
Understandable.
that's understandable. Yeah.
And so being like, yo, I'd rather just
Damn.
jack off, get my rocks off, or the way virtual reality going now is gonna feel damn near real. Or they probably got the toys, they probably got the little bodies they fuck, the doll, sex doll, all that type of stuff. They ain't gotta please a doll. But yeah, I
can't describe to you like what makes it good. I don't have that type of palate. I just know when it's good and when it's not good. Like this is smooth. It's not too bitter, but it's also not sour, and it also has like subtle hints of like fruit.
hazelnut.
Subtle. I can't tell you what fruit or what like, but
Gotcha.
it also has like it's just like a subtle citrus on the back end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, ugh.
Yeah, I just be like, damn, it just tastes.
But you know
bitter
what's
as hell.
crazy? The smell of it in the morning, I
Oh, yeah.
love.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, like especially if let's say I'm at my mom's, all my cousins are there, blah, blah, like that.
Yeah.
That smell in the morning of bacon mixed with coffee smell, I'm like, oh, this breakfast smells
Fire.
great.
I
Yeah.
agree. That's what they used to sell back in the days when it came to like the companies, like the commercials. It was always when you crack it open, it was the smell of like what they were
Yeah.
selling you. They weren't even
Yeah.
selling you
The
like the taste of the
best
coffee.
part of waking
Yeah.
up is Folgers
Right.
in your
And
cup.
you're
And I get it.
damn.
I get that.
Yeah,
I
get
didn't
it.
grow up like that though, cause you know, there wasn't a man around, and my mom didn't drink coffee. But then when she got with her her husband eventually, then he started like making coffee every morning, so I got that smell. But I hated that the nigga would always mix the coffee spoon into the sugar. So it'd be like little specks of coffee grounds in the sugar, and I used to be so mad.
And if it's
So
white
mad.
sugar on top, that's not
Like,
brown
man,
sugar.
get this nigga out of here.
I mean, that's a low key justifiable crash out.
Yeah,
though. Like,
especially
nigga,
white
nigga,
sugar,
I
bro.
don't want no
Nigga, and I
coffee.
see it. It's like clear, like
Yeah.
specks of coffee in my sugar, bro.
All right, I mean, we can go on that tangent. I think that's a funny tangent to go on about step parents. I guess you had that experience too. When I guess somewhat of a step parent or a mom's boyfriend, did you ever like anybody that you like and hated? Did you ever? What was the experience? What you like? Man, I got a father figure in the house now.
That's when I just put the mic down.
Never, bro.
I
Never.
mean, your dad ended up,
Well, that was grown.
was older.
shit.
He was older,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was grown. I wasn't raised by them.
For me,
oh.
it was, dude. Damn, this like. I'm glad you asked that. That like I never. They were never like a vocal presence or like they never had like any real presence. Like my mom was so strong and stood her ground on every front that these niggas had no real estate to like really even try to parent for real.
Oh wow!
Like it was like
wow.
It was almost like don't even talk to my kids.
Wait, how many dudes was it?
What you mean, bro? You trying to put my mom on this?
You said these niggas with an S.
So it was like, but it was definitely like on a friend vibe. It was never like on a they trying to tell me like how to live or what to do. But it started probably pretty early. I probably would say like 6 or 7. She had a live-in boyfriend who was cool. Nigga would take me to the movies. Hella cool. I liked him a lot. Nigga made fire, cream, and wheat.
So what happened to him?
I don't know what happened. He died eventually.
Oh.
But I don't know what happened with their relationship.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
how things.
Did you ever be like,
Went
Mom,
left.
I like that.
Yeah, what
why
happened to
you breaking
him?
up
Nah, I wasn't allowed to ask
You
questions.
never even heard any like arguing or anything like right?
Not really. The only thing that I heard was I remember one time specifically, like I walked past my mom's room and she was like crying in the room, and I didn't know like why. That's all the information I had.
Yeah.
And I went into my room and I just cried. It's like mom's crying, I'm crying, we crying.
Man, I've had so many experiences with like my dad's. My dad was always an adult's right person. So like when an adult came into our life, it didn't matter if it was like one of his friends that came over and they see us do something like, hey, don't do that. I couldn't be like, hey, Dad, why this nigga talking to me this way? It's just like, oh, didn't an adult tell you to stop doing something?
Yeah.
Now I gotta beat your ass for not listening to an adult. That was my dad's energy. So now when he got, when he would get like a girlfriend or whatever, or especially when a girlfriend that was like around for a while, man, it was just like, bro, I'll be honest with you, he did not know how to pick them for us. For a very long, like his new wife right now, I won't call her new, she's been together for like 11 years, but like his wife now is, I like her a lot. I love her.
Yeah.
Like she's an amazing person. But like the women that he was picking beforehand,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like I would say was kind of on us. Like we were kind of assholes to her. We didn't like the way she smelled. She smoked cigarettes a lot of times. She smelled like sour. She smelled like very sour and like cigarettes. And then she was trying to make her presence felt, but she was trying to be sweet. So I would say on our end, we kind of was on some like, I think it was too fresh off our mom too. She was too fresh off like our mom getting divorced and then not being there. Just like, it's kind of like, bitch, you'll never be our mom. That was our energy the whole
Was she
time.
trying to be your mom?
She was trying to be motherly for sure.
Okay.
And then she had a daughter, and then she brought her daughter in, and then her daughter was getting perks that we weren't getting. Like her daughter got her own room before I got my own room. I was like,
Which makes sense, right?
Makes 100% sense.
well, it didn't make sense to me because they didn't live there. Like they stayed there on like the week every once in a while, but they full out gave her a room. And I didn't understand that until I got older, to where it's like, all right, my dad told me, he's like, as a girl, she needs her own room.
a girl,
Keenan.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
she
It is what
and
it
y'all
is.
are growing boys. She's like only a few years younger than y'all.
Yeah.
He's like, nigga, he pretty much is like, nigga, why are you having this discussion with me?
Yeah.
She has her own room.
Yeah.
And
How did you approach that? Like when you asked your dad?
honestly, I came in hot because I was like, before it happened, I was staying with my brother. And I was like, yeah, that room gonna be mine. So I was preparing that room. I was kind of even adding stuff in there slowly and everything like that. I was like, I come from my little teddy bears in here and shit like that. And all of a sudden, I saw my shit back in my room, and it was a girly bed in there, a girly spread. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this? It's like, yeah, she.
How old were you?
I was in middle school.
But how did you approach your dad? Were you just like, Dad, what the fuck? Like it sounds.
I could never talk to my dad.
I know. So were you just like, hey, were you like, Dad, I thought I was gonna be able to.
I was kind of like, Dad, like I said, what's going on here? I was like, you said this room was gonna be mine. You were like, you promised me this room.
Oh, okay.
And he was just like, I mean, she needs to stay in here. I was like, but she don't stay here every. Like when she comes here on these days, then she can sleep in the room. But I was like, I should be to have my room throughout the rest of the week.
That's fair.
That's valid, right? And he was
And what
just
did he
like,
say?
nigga, do you pay rent here?
Oh, okay. That's what that's what I was gonna be like. At what point was it like, nigga? No,
Yeah.
stop back talking.
Yeah, you don't have
Yeah.
to. You don't have any rights in this house
Yeah.
for real. And so, I there was a lot of battles between like her daughter, me and my brother, where we would speak to her. We kind of speak to her kind of in a different respectful way. So we got a lot of trouble. She couldn't cook for anything, so it made it even worse. Like, all right,
Is that the hot dog lady?
Yeah, that's a yep.
Oh, the mom couldn't cook.
Yeah, the mom couldn't cook. Like she made like I told you, I hated gumbo for like the better half of like my whole life until I had real gumbo, because the way she made gumbo was like the worst ever. And then when my dad married his ex-wife, it was very similar. She came in there like, it was a point in time that my dad was like, yo, I think it's disrespectful for you to call an adult by their first name. So you either gonna call her mom or you're gonna call her Mrs. Baker.
Okay.
And it was like, mom's out of the fucking question.
Right.
I don't even know why you even brought that to us.
Yeah.
So she's gonna be getting called Mrs. Baker. So now it's also awkward when the homies come over and they're like, "Hey, Mrs. Baker, can we get this?" It's like, "Yo, is that the maid? Like, who the fuck is this bitch?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about, Mrs. Baker?" Like, "Oh, that's my dad's wife, our stepmom." We had to explain all this goofy shit, and then we didn't like her either. She was like, she was so manipulative. She turned the whole family against everybody. I said,
Why? Why did
Nothing.
you do that? Why?
It just sounds like he hates women.
Oh no! Everything. It doesn't sound like I hate women at all. This is justified. This lady legit.
Is this the film lady? The lady that's on tape?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Like this lady would literally tell my dad one thing. Like she'll do something, and then she'll say that I did it, and she'll go to my dad and be like, "Keenan did this." Oh, wow. And so then my dad would come in here and now get whooped for it. And my dad would yoke me up and slam me against the fucking wall. And I was like, I didn't even do that. And then it was like, and she'd be like, "Oh, I forgot. I did do that."
Wow. Did she apologize?
sorry.
Oh, she apologized.
Not like an actual apology, but like, "I'm sorry."
So when your dad hit her,
Too
you were
late,
like,
nigga.
good.
He hates women.
I didn't say anything. Let me tell you something. Here's the thing.
But once it's normalized, once physical violence is
At
normalized.
first, here's the thing. At first, the way she kind of built our relationship, like I said, she manipulated us. So what she would do was, when she'll see me and my dad get into it, like a big argument or whatever, she'll be like, "Keenan, you know what? Let's go to Marshall's." And she'll go buy me, but somebody's like, "See, your dad, yeah, you know how he is. You know how alcoholics are. You know how these people are, blah, 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 blah." And she'll be like, "You want to go ahead and pick yourself out a platinum FUBU outfit." I'm like, cool, platinum FUBU. And then, I would come home and it's just like, yo, I started to realize certain things that she was like she was turning her against. So when it was first happening, like when the beatings were kind of first happened, I would go all like, "Dad, what are you doing?" I would try to stop it, break it up, like, "Dad, man, fuck, that's why I hate this nigga." Like, I was on her side for sure. Like, you put your hands on our mom. This is all we know you for, in a sense. So I was very upset about it. And then when I saw that she was manipulative, and then like what she would do was she would. Remember saying manipulative wrong? What's happening?
No, because now I just see you in the corner like,
Yeah.
give her one turn.
So there's a point.
Use the right cross.
Use the right cross. Uppercut the bitch. When they got to,
Stand up pocket.
The guts open. The guts open.
there was a certain point in time where I found out she was hitting my dad first and provoking him while he was trying to, like, one, be sober, or two, like I understand that I'm doing these things, so I'm not trying to do this anymore. She would like do it to provoke him. And there was a point in time I told you she stabbed my dad with a nail filer because she was just like, "I don't want you in our bed anymore." He's like, "Oh, I'm not leaving." He put the headphones on, and She had smacked the headphones.
Oh man.
Like off his face, but she had smacked him and the headphones. And that nigga was just like, so he put it back on. He was just like, I don't love you. I don't love you. He was just doing that like a kid. And so she was just like, boom. And she stabbed this nigga in the ass with a nail filer. And my dad had came out and was like, Keaton, so she stabbed me with a nail filer. Call the cops. He's like, look, this how you know. Like, I was like, Dad, how I know that? And he was like, well, you can smell it. I was like, nigga, I don't want to smell your ass, nigga. And so she was doing that, and my dad, what she would do is she would put her hands on my dad, and then my dad would react, of course, and then she'll call the cops, and then they're gonna always take the woman's side.
Yeah.
And so in some cases, she was justified. I would never sit there and say that it was always right. There was sometimes my dad would just like snap or be drunk, and he would put his hands on her. And sometimes my dad was just like, yo, I'm sorry, I'm stopped. Please, 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 please. And then she'll do that. And so she was like the stepmother that was like you said, at a certain point in time when something was happening, I was just like, I'll be in her. I hear like, it's funny because this would really happen. I'll be in my room. I'll be sitting there. Got the PlayStation on.
Turn it up.
And I'll be sitting there playing NBA Live, nigga playing Madden, like, and I'll turn the volume up. 4th and goal.
Oh God.
So after a certain point in time, it's just like, hey man, like, you start to realize that you're essentially living with two villains. Like I'm not gonna sit there and say my dad wasn't a villain. My dad was a villain at one point too. So it's like I'm sitting there living with two villains, and you know, hey man, get your hands up.
That's funny.
That's wild. That's crazy.
If you're gonna pick a fight with a nigga that is a trained Marine from the hood, and he's an alcoholic, you might wanna either not fuck with him or whatever.
Yeah, just the idea that kind of chaos is kind of normalized. That you're not. Like for me, it was always like when I hear like rumblings like that and voices like that, it just like sends me into a space where I just get like really scared. Well, I was always really scared whenever I would hear anything.
No, here's the thing. I was at that point still, right? There was a point in time when I would be like I would do that, but for the most part I was
trying to avoid it.
I would like sometimes I would even like walk out to like the backyard. I'll step outside because I was just like it was a fear in there. Just like this is violence. And there's sometimes in there where I had to bust into the room because I hear it was getting too loud. Like I bust into the room like, Dad, what the fuck you doing, nigga? And I had to like literally get this nigga like out the way.
Yeah.
And it was like those are few times, but like
how old were you when you started intervening?
I was a teenager.
Okay.
Yeah. When I started to see like
that makes sense.
And at that point in time, I was like, that was like the buildup of like before we ended up jumping my dad. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, it was starting to come to where it's just like, I feel like my dad is this person, and I feel like it's mainly the alcohol. Like she's not that bad of a person, it's the alcohol. And you find out it was both. But it was like, it's like I agree with you. It was certain times I feel like I'm just like I hear that, or sometimes I would hear other people that's not even I'll be outside somewhere or at a friend's house, and I hear loud noises, and I'll get anxiety and be like, oh, shit, is it this?
Did y'all ever have a it's better them than me feeling?
What do you mean?
Like
better her get her ass whooped than me.
Than he coming this way.
Nah, because it was like I can't say I had a better. I think when I started to realize that she kind of I guess somewhat deserved it in a sense. It was just like it wasn't like it was better her than me. It was just like that's on her. It's like it became more like that at that point. But my dad wasn't just like drunk, but like, who am I gonna beat on today? Yeah. It was just like his drunkenness would be like he'd be drunk, and then he'd be like, "Hey man, you do your homework?" Yeah, I did my homework. He'd come back 2 minutes later. "Hey, did you do your homework?" It's like, nigga, I told you I did my homework like 5 times already. Yeah. Like, stop this shit. Let me see it. Dad, I don't think you can do the homework at this point. Yeah. Like, you're not doing algebra 2. And then he'll kind of start getting loud, and like you talking back to me, and then usually it'll build. And so he wouldn't just come in there and be like, "You, bow." It wasn't one of those. You know what I'm saying? Even with her, it wasn't like
the movies.
Right. It would be usually some tension build up. I'm sure they were probably even arguing about infidelity in their sense, and then it'll lead to somebody getting socked out.
I'm just thinking about just from the writing perspective of like, in reality, like there is like usually probably a build up, but for like movie purposes and writing purposes, like you gotta we ain't got time for all that, nigga. Just go beat their ass.
And I'm sure because usually when they were like, "What happened?" Your father just the food wasn't ready or
shit.
whatever. But it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. I would say most of those cases, I would probably, maybe there's a handful of cases that happens where he just came in there and started to yoke us up and go crazy. But I'll say for the most part, it was like, eventually we would say something back and it'd be like, because he's doing too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or he'll grab us and be like, nigga, what the fuck? You just get in there and do your fucking homework. It's like, why are you pushing a nigga on the bed or pushing a nigga against the wall for?
Yeah.
Are you insane? And then it'll go from there.
That's interesting. I do love the fact that like you were able to kind of build that courage to intervene at a certain point. I didn't see a lot of stuff like that once I kind of got into high school. But it would be interesting if you like intervened at a young age, like 10, 11.
We did too. We tried.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like the time where, like, I'll give you an example. There was a time where,
Just like that. This isn't healthy. Like, just like with some real like.
so and I don't know, and I'm sure he might feel like it's justified, but I don't even think my dad might have been fully drunk here. He might have been drunk, but like I remember my dad had pulled my mom out, and this is traumatizing because I used to see this stuff. But it's like he pulled like our mom out like naked in front of us, and he dragged her out into the living room. And so that sight right there is just fucking traumatizing.
Yeah.
And then essentially, that's when he was like, essentially, she's back on drugs and she stole stuff from the house. So essentially, like, I'm gonna take her out there with she can. How about she take herself out there and sell herself or whatever? Get her the fuck up out of here. And as kids, when you're seeing that, we're trying to, like, I'm not old enough or strong enough to peel him off. Yeah. But I'm grabbing him like, stop. Like, what are you doing? Me and my brother, my brother's probably swinging on him because my brother was immediately the violent person in that sense. Where, like, he'll swing first, ask questions later. But it was like, I'm probably hitting him, but it's like, stop, this is our mom. We don't understand that she took something. Yeah. And we just feels like you're just. But
also
hurting.
don't even need to understand that. Like, nigga, this is a bad look. Period.
Regardless, you don't do, especially in front of the kids. You don't do that. And so,
where was he taking her?
He dragged her out into the living room. I think eventually, like,
for what? Like, why?
I think it was like manhandling. So they were like in the room and it was happening.
Was he trying to kick her out the house?
Yeah, he trying to get out the house.
Like naked?
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I don't care. You're leaving with nothing. Like, I want you out of the house. I don't care. Maybe they were arguing naked. I don't know what it was. He might have stripped her clothes off in there. I don't know fully.
Yeah. Knowing now what I know about women, she probably was just naked. They always naked.
Yeah, my wife would just be naked in the house. She'd walk around, or she'd be in the room just naked, and she'll be having a conversation about like, "Hey man, you think I should go?" And it's like, you're asshole naked right now.
Yeah, they just love being naked, and then wonder why we think about what we think about all the time.
Yeah, I be sitting there like, I want to fuck you, even though you're talking about like going to Target real quick or going to some place or whatever. But it's like, dealing with that shit was like.
But he was always drunk, right?
For the most part, I would say there's probably a few times where he wasn't. But then, like, luckily for me, I didn't inherit those things, right? At least from what I know. Like, I was like, when I saw that, I was so all the way on this side. So when I would get into arguments with girls, like, that's why I always kept my distance, or my energy would be very stern. Like, don't talk to me that way.
How did that affect your like preference in women?
I would say there was probably a time where I was dating girls that probably had something wrong with them. There was probably like one or two girls that were probably like, all right, this is me.
Like, how are you about red flags? Like, oh, she seemed like
the type. Alcohol? I
Yeah.
love it. She's addicted to alcohol. But yeah, I would just look at it like it was normal to me. Like, this is what life is. Like, you're supposed to have something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Dysfunction is regular to me.
Yeah.
So what was, you said you saw it growing up or whatever. What was your thing? What was your childhood experience like? Because you normally make it seem like you were just raised by a single mom, like there were no dudes ever.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
No, it would usually be my brother. Man, my brother's like a lot older than me. He's like 11 years older than me. So it would be the girls that he like brought around, and he and I shared a room. So I'm like in the trenches,
right?
when shit like that would go down, or I would always tag along with him. Like, he would always take me. Or when he like lived with, he had a lot of live-in girlfriends and stay in apartments with them. I would stay the night or stay the weekend, and then see shit unravel. And
what do you think that came from on his end? Did he see it growing up?
I think he saw it. My mom was in quite a few like abusive relationships, so I think he saw it at a young age as well. And then it just kind of carried over into his own like approach to.
So what did that do for you? just made you go the opposite, or?
I think it really made me like sympathize with women. Like I don't want to say like see them as like weaker, you know what I mean? But like you do see them as more fragile. Like
I feel like
this is something that you have to like take, that you have to handle with care.
Yeah.
Almost. And even though like, you know, things can escalate, but it's like it's just important to like maintain, you know, like I'll hit a wall before I like, so it's like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like all this other shit, I'll tear this whole fucking house apart.
But as long as
but
you
you're
got no bruises, you got no bruises on you.
I was like, I gotta get this out.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
I think you can say it. I know people don't want to say it, but nigga, they are weaker. Like,
they're
just not
from a physical standpoint.
From a physical standpoint, and it's just like I look at honestly like my wife, like my children. Like I'm not gonna. It's not fair. Like, I could damage all of you easily at the same time, easily. Like that's not fair.
And
that's
then
not,
you also like it also
and for what?
Also having an understanding of your own strength.
Yeah.
Like I've grabbed Pilot like a time or two, like, oh shit, like I didn't even know like I had, you know what I mean? So just understanding like, no, you are bigger and stronger and like, you know, you have far more fast twitch muscle fibers, like, you know, like
more athletic. I'm more everything than you.
I got the reach advantage, bro. Anytime I like wrestle with him, and I'll like promote, I got the reach advantage, and he's like, oh no, not the reach advantage.
Not the reach advantage.
Oh no, not the reach. I got the reach advantage, dog. Oh no.
Not the reach advantage.
Not
That's
the
hilarious.
reach advantage.
But you know what's funny? Just to add to I guess to the effect of like watching from my mom and dad in their situation and how it affected me. It also made me want to be more sympathetic, empathetic, and caring to a person that had that. So when I would date a girl that was an alcoholic or had an issue or whatever, I was trying to save them.
Yeah.
You know, because I was like, I'm not going to do what my dad did. I'm going to help them and get them through this.
Yeah.
And do everything I can. It's like, what? You don't have to do this. You know, essentially like, you know, coddle them in that situation instead of being like, all right, essentially you need to kind of be an adult and like you shouldn't be doing all this shit.
Yeah.
I was just like, nah, I got you. Like if I need to help you get in a program, or I need to help you do this, I'll do anything in the world to help you. I just don't want you to be going down this track. So it's like, I don't know if I was purposely seeking out some girls that had those issues so I can try to help them.
So you can be a Captain Saver.
Captain, yeah,
You couldn't do it as a kid.
Yeah, because it's like I read a audio book, Will Smith's book, right, and he talked about how like, you know, he felt like a coward because he would see things happen with his dad, with his mom. His dad would like put his hands on his mom. He's like I felt like I was a coward because I never did anything. Now in a sense, I got a chance to make some moves and do some things.
Right.
But it was like I still looked at those moments where I was like, I wish I could have did more. So now,
which is ridiculous because like we just said, you're a kid. Like,
and your parents usually have this like this mental thing over you. Anyways, like they're
on
stronger.
top of the strength.
Yeah, on top of strength. So it's like, yo, how do I stop my dad? Like I said, who's a trained Marine, who's from the hood, and can just fight naturally. It's just like, how do I? Even though he's teaching me these things, also, it's like I don't have that, and I'm 7.
You're just not equipped for it.
Also, felt very like dialed in to just like, you know, just mental and verbal manipulation. So I never felt like I needed to be like impose myself physically. Like I can easily just like if I wanted to, I have the access. I can my tongue can break you down enough. It'll do far more if I wanted far more damage than what my hands can do. You know what I mean? Long game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
But also, I will say that there was some confusion because seeing like what would happen with my brother and his relationships versus, and my sister too. My sister would have some like domestic issues as well, but hers was a little more like she would push back, she would fight back. So it'd be more like a kind of
like a match.
Yeah, like a match. Yeah. But
undercard.
Seeing the girls that my brother dated and then my sister, but then my mom who almost like would take no shit from nobody. So that was also kind of confusing too. I'm like, but my mom don't deal with none of this shit. Like everybody. To me, it looked like every man that she dealt with was kind of like more beta male, where I hope like I would wish like, once y'all like, y'all just gonna let her like, you know what I mean? Not physically harm her, but just like y'all just gonna let her boss you around and just like tear you down and just like, you know what I mean? Just like, it was just weird, dude. So it was weird.
I feel like too, even like when you bring somebody into what is the place of like a step parent? It's like when you come in, or what would be like the ideal step parent of how they would handle situations and how they would even treat a child. Like, because I knew kids growing up that had like step parents, and they'd be like, man, I love Tom. You know, Tom's a great guy. You know, he was honestly, him and my dad are good friends, or like he's better than my dad. Like he was like, I call him my dad. I call him dad because he was such a better person than my dad was. Yeah. It's like what would be when a step what do you think the boundaries of a step parent should be at the beginning, and then what should it be going forward?
And I think that my stepdad, they got married and then he died like 3 months later. I think that was like his dying wish. Damn. But but they was like long term. They had been together for like 15 some years. I think his approach was just kind of like, I'm here if you need me. You know what I mean? If you need anything. But now I'm thinking back on it, I think he did kind of hold his tongue more. He was more quiet, but I think he also had a incentive to kind of hold his tongue a little more because my mom was the breadwinner. Nigga, and he's living in her house. Yeah. So it's like, hey, nigga, hey. He's like, hey, young pup, like, I'm just trying to, I'm just trying to keep peace. She said whatever the fuck she got to say, nigga. I'm sleeping in a nice bed. You know what I mean? So I think he kind of maybe considered those perks. Like, nigga, I'm not about to be running my mouth and then be out on the street. You know what I mean? Like, nigga, protect the bag or whatever. So, but I think he had a good approach, and I hate that I didn't really respect it at the time. I just kind of saw him as kind of weak. You know what I mean? Kind of a pushover, but he was there if I needed him. You know what I mean? So and like there would be like little shit he would tell me that I would listen. I wouldn't like talk back or anything, but I'd be like, man, I'm not about to do. Like he and I don't know why. I don't know. Like, why do you store certain things? Like, why is this like a core memory for me? Yeah. Maybe because he didn't give me a lot of advice, but during football, like we in the heart of the season and like before a game.
What age?
I was probably like 13, 14, but he was like, hey G, if you you know what you want to do. Like, I'm like, what to do? What? He's like, what you want to do? You want to run them over in the first half, run through them the first half, because in the second half they're not going to tackle you no more. And I was like, nigga, no, I'm doing what I want to do. I'm running over niggas the whole game. Like, that's what I do. But nah, you're like kind of sure enough. Like, you know what I mean? First half, I'm running through niggas. I'm running over niggas. And then second half, yeah. But hearing that from him, I was like, nigga, you don't know what you're talking about. Get out of here, nigga. My mom just punked you 2 hours ago.
So that was the crazy part about it is that my dad made us have some type of respect because the abuse came with the disrespect. Like, if we disrespected any of the women that he was dealing with, even though he was disrespecting them clearly at times, it was World War III with us. So I didn't get a chance to see my dad, if he would like put his hands on like one of them or whatever, then I'll go over there and they'd be like, what bitch? And then hit her too. Yeah. It was like if I would have ever struck like my stepmom, my dad's ex-wife or whatever the case may be, or anybody, even struck my mom a certain way, my dad would have lost his shit on us. And
you never done it? You never did it?
I mean, I might have been like, no to my mom, but like any of the other women, nah, like hell no.
That would have been like a mind fuck for him to like, if you were to like try to strike, you'd be like, but dad, that's what I see you do. Yeah. And then he's like, nigga, no, only I can do. Yeah. Damn, it's for grown folks. It's like
that might chicken nugget mouth, nigga.
That would have been like, but like really would have fucked him up.
Stopped it, like
like,
oh my god, this is what I'm
doing.
On?
Yeah,
y'all saying this now makes me damn. It's like you can't go back in time. If I could go back in time, I'd be like, I should have hit her.
Yeah, pop.
Like
because then I would have started you down a path.
Wouldn't if I would have did it consciously in the sense of like I'm gonna do this and then he did it and then maybe if he would it could go both ways.
Yeah.
It could have been a slippery.
Now you're like, hey, this.
No, but he would have told you that that's not okay.
Felt kind of good.
Yeah.
I feel the power now.
No, but here's
what if he's like, bow? I get it.
I get it.
And then hold on. This is going down a dark fucking path right now. This is going down a dark path.
I get it.
What if I would have did it because she was going crazy? I'm like, she said something disrespectful to me. I would have hit her, and he would be like, you know what, Keenan? Ooh, and then we just hit. Now we jumping her.
That's what y'all do. That's y'all thing now.
Now we just
and now y'all got a service. Y'all open a business. Hey, we'll come beat your wife. We'll come beat your bitch ass for you.
Oh,
me and my son. If you got daughters in there, my son will put hands on you.
we're comedians. This is gonna be hypothetical. We're done for. But
we're just looking for solutions. We're just trying to stop it.
But here's the thing. I think that when you say that, that would be very interesting if that did happen, and he would have been like, "Whoa, nigga, I didn't realize this was having an effect." Yeah. I think the fact that it didn't, like, we didn't react that way, he never even thought about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I you know what's funny? I haven't even necessarily asked him, because I have a very open line of communication with my dad. But it's like I kind of now do want to ask him, like, what was the psyche behind it? And then was you like, oh shit, I'm tripping at any point? Was you just like, yo? Because I guess I think I can look at it from the standpoint of, like, from the little bit of stuff that he told me about, because I never really met my grandfather on his side, his dad. Yeah, I didn't really know him like that. But I didn't know he was alcoholic, and I think there was abuse there also. Mm-hmm. So, and I think maybe with one of his uncles. But, like, I wonder, was he seeing that as, like, yo, this is just a household. Yeah, this is what the essentially this is what they do in the household. The kids don't, like, it's like, nah. But he's not looking at, like, yo, this can take effect on the children later on. Like, I was like, did you ever? I need to ask him that. Did you ever think, like, yo, we can become this? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should ask.
It's probably like, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
You should ask him all.
As long as you're 18, yeah. You better not touch a bitch till you turn 18.
That is crazy. That is insane.
Oh man,
we're done for.
I'm at an age now where I'm like, I want to start just asking. Well, I saw it on Instagram. It's like, ask your mom, ask your dad these questions. How was your life? So now, and then watching the kids have to interview them for their projects and shit. Yeah. I'm at an age that, I just want to ask questions because, they're old. If they pass tomorrow, would y'all feel like you got everything you needed? Would you, like, do you have everything you need from your parents?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know we talked about this before, like, I guess off screen when I had a discussion with my dad, and it was just like, there's a lot, like, with all the stuff that I did go through from a negative standpoint, there's a lot of positive that my dad also helped us with, and even becoming men, right? And it's like, there's still, like, a lot of things. Like I said, I'm not a parent yet. So for me personally, it's like, when I become a parent, I'm probably going to need you, or at least want to feel like I need you in the first few years, because, like, there's certain things I already told even my wife about. It's just like, yo, there's certain shit that my dad did. That shit is dead. We scrapping all that shit. Yeah. And then there's certain things that my dad did do that was like, but I did like this over here. But I still might have to ask him, what was the mentality because like I said, when my dad was sober, he was a pretty good person. Yeah. I would never sit there and say my dad was this mean person throughout our whole lives. He wasn't. But it was like, the lessons that, like, I would still need from him, I felt like my dad's going through some stuff, so I felt like I was going to lose him. So I was just like, damn, I don't know if I'm ready to lose you. I don't know if I'm fully equipped to live life without my parents. You know what I'm saying? And he was just like, and then, my grandmother had passed away. He was like, grandma was 90-something, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, I feel like I still need her. I feel like I still got questions to ask her. It's just like, when you're dealing with somebody that's an elder in the sense that that's older than you, and you respect them, they just gonna, like, you just respect their opinion on things. It's like, the reason why I want to go to grandma sometimes, he was like, yo, I go to grandma because, she knows how to deal with somebody that's 40 years old. Right. I'm just my first time dealing with a 40-year-old kid, right. Or my 40-year-old child. Right. And when he might ask me stuff or what he might do stuff, I gotta sit there, I gotta learn that stuff. So I was asking her questions. So I feel like right now, I'm in a better space now that I had that discussion with him. But before that, I was like, oh shit, I was scared, bro. Like, I was like, I don't think I'm ready for none of this. And it's like, I would go to my brother because he's older, but it's just like,
by 16 months.
Right. What does he really have in a sense? Yeah. Like, I know for you, Keon, since you had a better and a positive relationship with your parents in a sense, do you feel like, and they've been close with your family, stuff like that. Your whole family's close. I've been to your family functions. They're like super, super tight. Do you feel like you have that village, or you have all that to where if something does happen, it's just like, well, I still have aunts to go to. I still have this to go to if I need to and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll make it work. I think I'm at an age now where I have a lot more why questions just to get an understanding of parenting and relationships. Here's the thing.
No, it's not that. It wasn't that.
I saw it, but I was like, I'm gonna power through.
It wasn't that. I was just thinking of just like a thumbnail. Like people post those like the little photos. You know, people are doing like the slides now.
Yeah.
They just have like the captions, and it's like, hey, Keon, how do you feel about your parents dying? And Keon's like, I'll make it work.
Yeah, this what makes about Keon being a cyborg. 'Cause even Keon is being
figure it out.
like, you know, it is what it is. It's like there's no like,
because
damn.
life is gonna life, so I have no choice but to make it work. But I do have. The older I get, the more I actually talk to them more now. But it's not. I just want to know why they did what they did, so then I can navigate what I do. You know, like because a lot of times my dad did stuff, and we're like, "Nigga, what are you doing?" And then now that we're older and we've talked to him, his why made a lot of sense. But at that time,
it did?
At the time, he never explained why. He never told us why. It just seemed stupid
Do you
or
think-
controlling, or it's like, nigga, you could have said that.
I'm happy that he has a why.
Yeah.
He has.
I don't think most people have a why.
My dad has a lot of whys, but he doesn't talk about until recently. He didn't talk about his childhood and stuff a lot and all his traumas. So a lot of his whys for us were over the top to try and keep us away from a thing.
Give me an example.
Okay, like so we thought they didn't want us to get our hair braided, right? And we was like, why? And they were just like, just because. We thought it was so you didn't look a certain way as a black kid or whatever. Come to find out, this nigga, even though this is extreme, I understand. He was like, I didn't want y'all at that age sitting between some girls' legs. Because now, I remember getting my hair braided and being like, you know what I mean? That's insane. That's insane. That's insane. That's so extreme. To be like, that's where you thought our mom was getting our hair braided, and you thought pussy. And he's like, but that's what I was thinking at that age. So I didn't want y'all to be sitting there.
You think they can stand up too, right?
Huh?
Because like there's girls that braid you in a chair. You'll be in a chair and they just stand up braiding.
Exactly.
Like, you know, we could have still got our hair braided.
Yeah, so much logic, right?
Yeah.
But like in his mind, you sit
In his
on a
mind,
bench.
yeah.
She's sitting there, and
She
then
do your hair,
or you're sitting
and
on
then
the floor,
and then you turn around
Yeah,
and you just
like,
eat her
yeah.
pussy. That's what happens after you
Pussy
get your
or
hair
hair would
braided.
come off.
So like,
I gotta eat this pussy
even
now.
though
I gotta
that's
do this.
ridiculous, at least I understand the core of why you said it. And had you said it then, we would have had a rebuttal like, Dad, you know we can stand. You know,
Yeah.
like if you would have said your things then, we could have came with a logical other side that would have made you relax.
Right.
But like, so he always had a thing like. You know, and it always related to South Central LA, like everything related to his childhood. And it's like, you were so far, even now, but the only difference between him now is we're older and we can come with a lot. So he'll say something, we'll be like, now why don't you just, he'd be like, oh yeah, I never thought, because he's always here, like always way out there. And it's like, you know, there's your version, this version, and then a lot of gray area in between that you never navigate. And so that's where I'm at now with both of them. Even though I joke with my mom about the grandkids and all that, I'm like, what? I asked her about my 8th birthday the other day. I was like, why did we go to Reno? Like, who was that for? Did you guys want a weekend getaway? Like, what was the point of that? You know, like that birthday sucked for us. We were in a hotel room, like we didn't like it. We were like, why did we? She was like, I think we were just trying to do something different or whatever. I don't really remember. But I just want to know why. I just want to know what made them do decisions. So when I'm going through my parenting, you know.
I never really hear you say anything about like how your mom might have did something that was way extreme. You're just like, my mom was tripping. It's like you seem like
my mom.
She's pretty grounded.
My mom wasn't that person. My mom has done things that we've talked to her about, but it was never not even close to the level of my dad.
Yeah.
My mom's things were like, maybe you shouldn't have said that. You know what I mean? I think when you said it at the time, you probably just said it because my mom's more like me as far as just. You know, so
yeah.
So there were things that my mom has said, not to me, but like, you know, whether it was somebody was dating at the time or whatever. Like, it's like you didn't have to offer that opinion right there. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
And I don't think she said it out of malice or anything, or just different when her and my dad first divorced. I didn't really go through the divorce. I was away at school. Keith was doing. Kyron went through the divorce. So just how she handled some of that. Like, you know, we didn't agree with. But yeah, hers was her actually what's funny is all of her things are more when we became adults. Which is why we were able to iron them out faster.
Got you. Okay.
My dad had more childhood stuff. My mom's things were more we were grown enough to be like, hey man, you know, what was this?
Yeah.
And then we were old enough too where some things my brothers just kind of like let go.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she shouldn't have said that, but hey nigga, we're here now. Like it is what it is. So yeah, that's why I don't have a lot with her, because it just was different circumstances. But now that I'm older, I just ask her things, and she's honest about them. Like, I didn't know she never wanted to. I interviewed her, and she was like, you know, if I could do things over, I wouldn't have got divorced probably. I wouldn't have, and I never knew that. I thought she
that's
was
wild.
Yeah.
you know, thank God, nigga, I'm out. Like,
Yeah.
I never knew that she felt that way, like, ever.
Which is interesting because their kids are like pretty much grown at that point.
I think my mom. Well, I mean, I have the whole thing on my Patreon if y'all want to watch. But she was just saying how she always wanted to be a mother and have a family and like a tradition, never break. Like, that's what she wanted. Like, that was her goal. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way. But I guess not that she's saying she regrets the guy she's with now or whatever. But I think if she would have planned her life, it would have been just one family, one.
Oh,
you know
okay.
what I mean?
Right.
And my dad too. Not that he regrets my little brother at all. But if I could plan it, you know, it would have just been this thing, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that about neither. I didn't know that. I knew that about my dad, but I didn't know that about my mom. I didn't know that she felt that way, and that she always, like, I was like, you guys had me so young. What was that about? She was like, that's all I ever wanted to do. I just wanted to be a mom, and you know, I loved taking care of you. I loved, like, I always thought.
Where is she on and her siblings? She a middle?
Middle.
Okay. And she has sisters too?
So it's uncle, aunt, my mom, the baby.
Oh, so she's she's kind of
low
Middle, but it's like it's
Yeah.
Because my auntie Karen's only 11 years older than me. So when I was born, she was like carrying me around and shit like that.
Okay.
So she, I think my mom, she said this is how she played with dolls. She was a traditional like girl. You know what I mean? Like and I think that's what affected my dating. Not knowing what I know now, my mom never wanted to be the working class, you know, blah blah. She loves projects. She does love projects. She'll decorate and put a wall, like, she loved that.
Yeah.
But she was always, like how we talked about last episode, like, you thought it was weird that women didn't want kids or didn't want. My mom was I want a family and I want to. That's who she was. So I was just like, when girls weren't like that, I was like, what are you doing? Like, well, how do you not want to look pretty for your husband? How do you not want to take care of you? Like, what the fuck is that? You know.
Yeah.
So that's just who she was.
How did the divorce affect your perception of like how a woman's supposed to be, or was it already like cemented in you? Like, women need to be like my mom.
I was already there because
So
I just
you never
watched her
viewed it like
navigate.
my mom kind of failed.
Nah,
in their marriage.
My mom was killing. My dad would say it all the time. He failed. Like, my mom made mistakes.
Yeah.
But typical mistakes that happen in a marriage. I don't think her mistakes were as catastrophic as my dad's mistakes.
Yeah.
But watch my mom cook every day with 3 kids, and we never missed a meal, never missed practice, did her own hair, blah. So, like, when I first started seeing girls get weaves, and they're like, I don't have time. I'm like, you're 19. How do you not have time? And this woman can cook, clean, raise her kids, and she has time to do her hair. What the fuck are you talking about?
So there was a high
She's
bar.
like, I'm becoming a lawyer.
Yeah. Like, I was like,
there was
I
a
don't
bar.
have
There was a
time.
bar that your mom said to where, because it's interesting. You usually hear that from women with that had
Their
great
dads?
fathers.
Yeah.
And it's just like the bar is so high, just like, nah, nigga. Where so now hearing from the other side of this, like a guy, a boy being like, my mom was so dope. Like, y'all got work to do.
yeah. And then what's crazy is I'm not a mama's boy. We're all. Like, my
Yeah.
dad was like
Yeah.
who I ran with. My dad was like, that's who I went with. But my mom was enough for an example. Like, I'm closer with my dad than my mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we weren't, and I always judged mama's boys growing
Yeah.
up, because I'd be like, why y'all, like, when I hear, even today, even though I'm older and I understand, when I hear people talk about their mothers versus their fathers, I'm like, what you niggas doing? Like, why are y'all so, you know what I mean? Like, because I didn't grow up like that. I grew up with, our mom was the only woman. She was dope and she was there, but like, our bond with our dad was like that male, you know what I mean?
Right.
Is Keith a mama's boy? Or is he just
No,
black
he's
sheep?
just, and then Kyron's 100%. Kyron was the baby though, so like Kyron is like talk to my dad all the time, daily, but also he's the only one that's when he talks to my mom, he's like, "Hey, mommy," like he's the baby.
Oh, he gets into that mode.
He will cuddle up. He will.
I'm trying to see if there's any correlation between sports and the connection with fathers.
I mean, for me and him, probably a big one.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call my Keith a mama's boy. None of us are mama's boys. None of us are, like we love her to death and we need her and all that good stuff and, cooking. But as far as how I hear other people talk about their moms, I'm just like, I judge it a little bit because I'm like, how y'all are kind of obsessed with your mom. That's how it comes off.
I think there's mama's boys and there's people that's obsessive, whether it's mom or dad, where it's just like this relationship feels weird.
Yeah,
Even
like when
the
I be
mom feels
watching, I'll
weird,
be
too,
like,
with that situation.
or when people be like, my mom is everything. I'm like everything? I love my mom to death.
Well, conceptually, motherhood is everything.
You know what I mean? So that
Conceptually.
Yeah, I can understand even somebody probably even saying that, especially if that's all you had.
So,
and to look to.
and I get that. I get that.
But is it so I think it would need more context and like, are you saying this like conceptually in terms of like humanity? Like, oh, my mother is everything and I appreciate and I love the idea of motherhood and what they provide in sense of like evolution.
Right.
Or is it like contextualize it, are you actually talking about like, no, I actually like love being with
like
my
when I hear
mom
people say my mom is my best friend, I'd be like,
yeah, when a guy says that,
a guy, especially a guy.
Okay.
I'd be like, nigga, what?
But it sounds like the only thing I can.
And I've heard this from people who have fathers too.
People who have fathers.
What are you talking about?
I can understand it in a sense because your mom is going to be your biggest cheerleader.
For sure.
Your dad is going to be more critical and he's going to like, but your mother is just going to support. That's my baby. Got your shirt on and all the shit. Like, you know what I mean? She's going to go full tilt.
I don't feel that way.
You didn't have, but your mom wasn't like that, right?
That's not who she was.
Yeah.
But
Their moms.
She came to every game.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I think my dad was so involved in the sports.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't need my mom.
No, yeah. There's moms who are running down the sideline.
That's not my mom's
like,
demeanor.
yeah.
That's
fucking
not,
you know, like
that's not my mom. But that's not my dad's more animated in that sense.
Yeah.
So I think in that sense, a lot of things that these moms do, my dad did.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom is more reserved. She's not big. My mom's never been big. Like she don't get me wrong, she will dance in the middle of a party and all that. But she was never like embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with just being the support system. Like, my mom came through. She was like, I think it's an appreciation. Yeah. Like, oh, she was nigga. She was my biggest fan. She really
See, like
was
growing
there.
up, I felt like my dad was my biggest fan.
Yeah.
Right. So I get it. It's like the reason why I can't call it weird because it's like it depends on the circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when somebody feels obsessive with their parent or like they look at their mom almost like their girlfriend or their mom looks like their their boyfriend or whatever, their husband. That's when I'd be like weird. But then other than that, I'd be like I get the sense of like you said, somebody even like people talk about Jaden Daniels right now. It's just like I can kind of like
it's a little much
in his relationship with his mom.
I think I saw an interview where she was saying something about like the way she worded it was kind of like it didn't seem as bad the way she worded it and how she said it was, but it can kind of look from the optics of like, yo, he about to hit the club, my nigga. Why are you here?
You know what I will say too? Both my mom and dad, they were very, hands-on through our youth. Once we got grown, they kind of were like, you got the room to figure it out.
Some parents didn't do that, man.
And I think that's why I look at people who had that relationship with their parents a little weird because I was like, when did your parents let go? Mine let go. They said, we've done our job. If you need us, we're here.
Right.
If you need to come back home, come back home. But once we graduated, they were like, live life.
And I think that falls more on the parent than it does the kid.
Oh, absolutely.
If a parent really like does not reflect or develop a sense of self and they're living vicariously through their child, then that can come to the surface. But I wouldn't put it on the kid.
No,
like it's not if your mother's your best friend, like that is a relationship that
Right.
he or she cultivated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not. I don't think it's on the child.
No, you're right.
And it's not necessarily her fault either if she didn't like have sort of the
Yeah.
wits about her to really establish her own identity, because like some mothers, once they become mothers, that's all they become. That's all they are.
For sure.
So it's hard to just like put a hard break in that. Like, okay, I'm done with motherhood. Now I need to just like be there if you need me or help guide you through like your adult life. Some people have a difficult time like, you know, breaking away from that. So I mean, I get it. It's weird, and I think it's. I don't think we have sort of the language to attach to it something other than like, oh, is that like your boyfriend? Like, it's not that. But I don't think we as humans have the language to like really understand the nuance of it.
Yeah, what they call it? And baby boy, you got an Oedipus complex.
Oedipus.
Yeah.
He
And it's
loved.
like,
He
no,
wanted to smash his mama. Like that's what that is.
Well, I don't know if he wanted to smash him on
No,
a
that's
baby
what-
boy.
Oedipus.
Yeah, that's what it means.
what it means
as
when
a kid.
yeah,
As a kid, you naturally have like, you don't want to fuck your mom. You don't understand what sex is, but you do have like an affinity towards her. Like, and I see it with Pilot and his mom. Like, oh, like you like love your mom. Like you want to marry your mom. Like naturally, yeah.
But little girls do that with their dads.
Yeah.
too,
A lot of kids used to say that. It made me just think of the Oedipus complex. It made me think of that movie, Something Strange About the Johnsons.
Oh, that shit was wild, bro.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a movie. It was a sketch or whatever.
It was a short. It was a short
Yeah,
film.
that shit was
Short film.
crazy.
The craziest shit I've ever seen.
That shit was insane.
In my fucking life.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you know, but it made me think of, maybe when I think about that, I was just like, oh shit. Yeah. But you know what? I think that when it comes to, because my dad was the same way. My dad, when we started to get to a certain age, he was kind of just like, hey, y'all starting to become men. My dad was always kind of like letting us fall. Like, hey, man, that's a mistake you got to make. Yeah. And I gave you the direction. You failed. All right, now learn, nigga. Whereas my mom, I would say early on, I was a mama's boy when I was young. Like, I loved my mom to grab me, kiss me 1,000 times, and I grow up to her and go, like, give me kisses, mom. Yeah. But then when I got to, like, when I started to grow, and maybe even when she essentially split from us, it was like, all right, I don't really have that no more. But I also didn't yearn for it from my dad's girlfriends. Yeah. You know, I didn't go, even when I would go visit my mom, you know, she'll do it every once in a while, but I was still like, all right, mom, like I wasn't like really tripping no more. And I was still like, my dad, maybe he essentially put that influence in me to where, I think it was part of it too, was like I saw mama's boys growing up, even when we were teenagers, like, oh, he's too much of a mama's boy. I don't want to be that. So I feel like my balance was pretty there. Even with my brother, I think the same way. I feel like he might be more of a mama's boy than I am, I think. Yeah. But I still wouldn't call my brother a mama's boy. Yeah.
I think too, my mom is so because my dad was so high, my mom is who we went for calm. Gotcha. And not saying anything was crazy. Yeah. But my mom's influence, even her lessons were way different than my dad's. My mom, something would happen, and you know, like I said, if people watch this interview, people who did watch it, it was like, your mom has a very soothing voice.
Man, your mom has been super cool. Like I said, when I lived with you, I was just like, first thing I said was like, I get why Keon's Keon. Yeah. But I was just like, his mom is super chill. Like I never. It's
very. Yeah. When something happened and I go to her, she's like, well, it's kind of like, you know, like, that's how she talks. Yeah. It's kind of like when you put your hand through a fence, easy to get in, hard to pull out. It's just like getting in trouble. Like a metaphor for I thought it was a metaphor. No, not at all. It gets you, it grips you. No. I did something. It's all right. That'd be weird. That'd be edifice. I forgot what I did and what
that's
happened.
A mama's boy. Yeah. Mom, tell me about pussy. Like, how does that work? Yeah. Well.
I forgot what I did. But it was a situation that I was trying to, you know, I went down, and then she gave me the fence example, and I thought about all the times, you know, them chain fences you put your, and then you can't get it out, and she was like, "That's
who gave her the fence."
I don't know, probably my granny, nigga. My granny was metaphor lessons, McGee. And you talk about calm. My mom is my granny. Like my granny was, you know, like when my brother. So I take my brother out one night. This is when I'm out of college. I'm visiting back home. We get fucked up. He has a hangover the next day. We're going to my granny's house. My mom's driving. He's throwing up at the gas station. My mama know he hungover. I know he hungover like everybody we all know. So, and this is post he had just broke off his engagement. So we're at my granny house, and he's he's hungover. She knows it. Everybody knows. And she just like chuckles. And she said, well, it's just funny because here you are trying to get married. You ain't even been drunk yet. And she never said nothing. Mm-hmm. But she was like, I was going to let you figure it out. My family's very big on you figure it out. We'll be here when you fall, and you're going to fall. Mm-hmm. But she was like, lesson learned. And they're just very, my dad's more like, nigga, I told you.
Which granny is this? Because I'm trying to see, because you said your granddad was like kind of a hothead, kind of like a.
Oh, both of them were.
Oh, both of your granddads?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So in a way, your grandparents on your mom's side kind of modeled your dad and mom's like dynamic.
Well, he wasn't like that when I was They said he was like that when they were little. Yeah. He'd come home from work with scars because he didn't put a nigga through a window. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like his nickname growing up in New Orleans was Killer. You know what I mean? Like that's. But when I was a kid, no, Papa was.
But he didn't do it.
No, you know, I only saw him get mad when he was either, playing spades, but that's just black people, dominoes, whatever. Only time I seen him get mad is when he cooked for all the kids and the adults ate it, and that nigga cussed out my mama, my daddy, the auntie. Like he went, I made that for the babies and y'all out. He went the fuck off, and we were like, woo, like we were watching the parents get cussed out. We were like, yeah, get him. But I think, I think all the men in my life were such hotheads. Yeah, that the women were very docile. Calm and docile, but weren't no punks. Like they, you know what I mean? Yeah. They just their demeanor was always very.
They coasted.
Yeah,
they were able to coast because they got this.
It was crazy to watch my mom, my granny, even my grandma sometimes be assertive, but like calm. Mm-hmm. They were always calm. Just
scary.
Just like
that's scary to me.
Yeah, it's scary to me.
And like even when they would step in to stop stuff or whatever. Like, so did you, like, I remember, my brother and my dad, boom, boom, boom. My mom walked in that garage. So, what, you gonna kill him? You gonna, is that enough? And then I'm just like, damn. That's how she talks. It was just like.
She didn't come in there like, get off my baby.
Nah, that's not her. That's not her. I think I seen her panic like twice. One time when my brother put the car in neutral. This nigga, bro. Keith was always doing shit. My mama talking. The nigga puts the car in neutral. It starts rolling.
Y'all parked somewhere.
We're in the driveway.
Okay.
Now it's rolling into the middle of the street. Car coming. My mom's banging on the door, telling him unlock the door so I can. He stares at her. He just stares. So she has to reach her hand in, unlock it, pop the. What the hell are you doing? And then, that's when I saw her running and panicking. Okay, and this nigga, and so he got the reputation of being a freezer because he would always do shit like that. I remember one time he leaned. I had my head out the window. He leaned on the thing. Nigga, we're like, put it down. Put it. Nigga would just freeze, and we're like, bro. And so that's the only time.
Was he freezing trying to kill you niggas on the low?
Nah, Keith was, he'd do stuff and then he just in real time couldn't react. He ain't like that no more.
I'm about to say, because it's so funny. The Keith that I know was nothing what y'all explained.
Bro, childhood Keith was a different dude, man, like completely different person than now.
That's what's so funny. When you talk about Keith, I be like, I don't know who this nigga ain't talking about.
Oh my God, bro.
He hanging from the top of a building. And your mom just like, so are you just gonna?
Just gonna
that's why when I talk about that in the special, like that's how she was, bro. Like she's just very like, okay. And I seen her panic another time when at one of our basketball games, coach got jumped, and she ran over there to help. She's like, oh no, that's my friend. That's so funny. The way she said it was so funny.